Evening everybody, hope you're doing okay at home, not annoying your mums and dads too much, and I hope they're not annoying you too much. We've been trying to do a lot of things to keep you occupied while everybody's in lockdown, and I hope you've been enjoying the interviews from the professionals that we've had and other people as well. Leslie, stop dancing around. So yeah, I thought it might be good for you to get the chance to ask me and Scratch some questions. Obviously you've seen Scratch's video last night, so I'm hoping that I can answer any questions that you've submitted. Thankfully there were no difficult ones, or well, there were a few difficult ones, but I'll do my best to answer. I've got my little helper Charlie here, who makeup artist, who's going to help me along the way. So fire away.
Why did you get involved with Clitheroe Wolves?
That's a question I kind of ask myself every day and regret it. No, joking apart, I don't mean that. I got involved from the start really because Dad started it, not for me because I was pretty pants at football, but more for my brother when he came out of the Cubs. But I coached the team first in 2001-ish when Stephen played, my stepson. So I got involved then and I ran a team because there was an overspill of players. And then I always said when Thomas was, if he was interested, I would give it another go. And that was probably in about 2007 probably. So I went along similar time to Trevor, who me and him decided to give it a go with the team. But there was a lot of kids on waiting lists, and Sven was doing a fantastic job, but he couldn't really cope with the amount of kids going on a Saturday. So we took an overspill group, and it sort of went from there really. And then Dad asked me to get involved a little bit more. He was kind of concerned about where the club was heading financially, so we got together, myself, Andy Pritchard and Scratch, probably around 10 years ago now, and took it from there. So obviously everything spiraled from that. So that's how I got involved.
Describe your playing careers.
That won't take long. I didn't really have one. I played in the Cubs. Football was a little bit different then when I was a lad, if you said so. 7, 8, 9, 10, played in the Cubs. I was a prolific goal scorer, believe it or not, in Waddington Cubs. Once scoring 20 goals in 8 games, believe that, it's true. And then I went to the grammar school and played in a very good team, but they thought I was a goal scorer and I wasn't particularly. I didn't really carry it on at the grammar school, so I gave up for a while. And then I started again probably midway through year 8, and then we had a really good team at school. We won the district cup 3 years running. I enjoyed playing with the lads at school, and I also played into the sixth form a little bit in the second 11. But I bought a season ticket for a German show bar in Worley called Rendezvous in about 1994, so that took my focus really, and the football career sort of went south from there. But joking apart, I also played for Lango Juniors because Clitheroe Wolves didn't exist, and I played for Chipping alongside Nick Laxton, and he'll tell you that we weren't particularly very good. I've had the privilege to play for the school in 3 different countries. We played in Italy, France and Spain on an ill-fated trip to Barcelona. So, but unfortunately I broke my ankle when I was 19, 20, when I was at college, and that kind of stopped me playing. But I think I didn't really play much after the age of 18, to be fair.
Who is the best player you have played with and against?
Well, like I say, I didn't particularly play with. I played for a long time, but I do remember when I was in the Cubs, Jonathan Dugdale was a great player. I always thought he was brilliant, really quick. So I enjoyed playing with him. When I went to the grammar school, I played with a lad called Robert Dobson, who was nephew of Martin Dobson, who played for Everton and Burnley. And I think he managed Burnley and played for England as well. And I can't honestly believe he didn't make a career out of the game. He was unbelievable all the way through school. He started off as a striker and then he moved to centre half, so he was a great player. I also had the privilege of playing with Martin Aspinwall in a coach's game, and I honestly think Martin's one of the best players I've seen that the area's produced. But overall, I played with a lad in the district side when I was 10, 11, a lad called Martin Rimmer, who unfortunately, as well as Jonathan, is no longer with us. But Martin, I think anybody that played with Martin Rimmer will tell you that he was everything a football should be. He was strong, powerful, and could really play. So I would say Martin Rimmer's the best player that I've played with. Alright, sorry, I missed against. I played, when I was at the grammar school, I played against a lad called James Beattie, who was at Queggs, who went on to play for Everton, Southampton and England. So he was obviously very, very good. I think they murdered us quite every time we played when he played. And I also played against a lad called James Webster, who was at St Wilfred's, I think. He went on to play for Queen's Park Rangers and Burnley, and I think he ended up being a golf pro and the youngest chairman of Colne FC when he was probably mid-20s. So I would say James Beattie and James Webster would be the best players I've played against.
Who is the best player you have seen play for Wolves?
That's a tough question, and it's probably almost impossible to answer. I think me and my dad tried to work out a few weeks ago how many kids had played for Wolves, and we're kind of somewhere in the region of 6,000 to 7,000 kids, so to pick one would be difficult. But I think you've got to look at the lads who made it pro. I've had the privilege to watch Joe Garner play for a lot of years for quite a lot of his clubs, so I didn't see him much play for Wolves. I saw Adam Barton a lot, and obviously Dom Telford, and coming up, Leighton Clarkson's obviously arguably going to be one of the best. But I think you look at the players early on. I remember my brother playing, and he was a really good player because he could sort of play in the next 1 week, get man of the match, and he would be playing up front the week after and get man of the match, and then he would be left back because Dad was the manager. So, but early on, I'd say I enjoyed watching Jamie Stoddart. He was a fantastic player, and there's a lot of players that could have gone on to play at a higher level: Ross Dent, Glenn Dinsdale, Walshy, JP, Ryan Cattermole. You know, there's been loads and loads of players. Jordan Wormsley, I could go on and on. So the best player, probably, I'd have to say arguably could be Leighton, but I enjoy watching Joe. But I think it's important that I mention my own kids as well. I really, really enjoy them watching them play. And if I had a favourite, it would have to be Charlie.
Excuse me.
I'm messing about. No, I enjoy watching Thomas, Amy, and I also enjoy watching Charlie play as well. I think I've got to say that if I had favourites, it would be all of those three.
What is the hardest part of your role in Wolves?
Hardest part? Not much of it really. It's all quite enjoyable. Leslie's laughing in the background. I would say the hardest part is probably trying to keep everybody happy, which I used to do, and now I've kind of given up on that because with so many 700 odd players, it's probably really, really hard to do that. So try and keep the majority happy. The really difficult bit is when you've got a group of 6-year-olds who are ready to play going into the under-7 season, putting them into squads, I would say, is the hardest part. I've had a little bit of help over the years to do that from Tom and Mick and Gary Dixon at the moment and Richard Brunning. Sven used to do it as well. I would say that putting the kids into squads at 6, 5 and 6 is the most difficult part.
What is your proudest achievement in Wolves?
There's been a lot, but I think probably off the field stands out. Obviously the High Moor, getting High Moor and securing a home, which is what Dad's always wanted. So I think when the sign went up and we secured the lease back end of 2018, early last year, that's got to be the proudest moment for me. I'm not gonna be too proud to say I shed a little bit of a tear when that happened. So, but I think on the field there's been a lot. I think, you know, Amy in the semi-final of the Lancs Cup last year, having the courage to stand up in the last minute and take a penalty to take us to extra time, that made me very proud. There's been a lot with Thomas because he's played for a little bit longer. I remember a header he scored in the semi-final of a cup when he was under 9, and it made it special because Trevor, you know, when Trevor had been the whole way through with me, but at that time Harry crossed the ball that he'd no right to cross, and it was like a bit like an escape to victory moment. I can still see it back now, and it was like in slow motion, and Tom headed it in at the back post. That made me very proud, I think. But on the field, the proudest one would be when we were under 14s, we tied AFC Darwin for the league. We were 2-0 down with 10 minutes to go, and we managed to claw it back with Sam Smith scoring a penalty in the last minute. But it wasn't particularly that moment. It was the fact that somebody shared a video with me after of the penalty being taken, and I'll try and put it on as part of this video. There's a little moment where Charlie ran onto the pitch and jumped into Tom's arms, and as a dad, and obviously knowing what that meant to Thomas and to the rest of the team, that bit of a moment made me very proud. But I could go on and on. There's loads and loads I could be proud of what we've achieved in Wolves. But yeah, those are the ones.
Think about it. Yeah. getting recorded. This is good.
Oh, come on, Sam.
Get going, Wolves!
What is it like seeing Scratch more than your wife?
I have to be careful how I answer this one.
And your kids?
And the kids, yeah. You shouldn't say that. I think me and Scratch have a great relationship. We've got a mutual respect for each other, for what we've both achieved in the time we've been with Wolves, and we've done a lot of work, especially in the last 18 months up at Armour, and what he's done, far and outweighs what I've done. I have a lot of respect for Neil as a person and for what he's done alongside me in Wolves. So it's good. Obviously, I could do with spending a bit more time at home with my wife and kids, and they'll tell you that. But I don't think they begrudge much of what we've achieved in Wolves. So I hope they don't anyway.
What would you do with your spare time if you didn't have Wolves?
Obviously, I've got a lot of spare time at the minute when I'm not working, so I've been doing the garden outside, taking a while. But I would probably say I'd play a bit of golf, and I would try and be a better husband and a better dad, because obviously finding spare time to spend with the family when football season's running is difficult, so yeah.
If you didn't support Blackburn Rovers, who would you support and why?
I think there was a little bit tagged on from Pete Davis, and why would it be Plymouth? Obviously I've been to watch Plymouth a little bit because Don plays, but if I didn't support Blackburn, I don't like to change. I would never change my allegiance, but if I had to pick a team, it would probably be Wigan, because I was born in Wigan and I support Wigan Rugby. So I don't particularly like the manager at the moment, but I think I would probably go for Wigan. Yeah.
Who is your idol in the footballing world and why?
This is going to sound like a really weird answer, but when we were growing up, me and my brother, Dad was manager of Higher Buck, and then he went on to manage West Bradford. So our weekends, especially our Sunday mornings, revolved around being dragged out of bed. Well, we didn't have to drag us, to be fair. We enjoyed going up to Bullholm or Holt House in Colne and down at Rawfield and watching the Higher Buck play. So at the time when I was 7, 8, 9, I'm lucky enough to call one of them my best mate. Now my football idol was probably Neil Winkley, because he was an absolute legend between the sticks. And there was also another guy, we used to call him Mick Norcar. I think he's Mick Charnley, who me and my brother just thought he was amazing. He was, again, he'd play in nets, he'd play up front. So Mick Norcar and Neil Winkley as I was growing up with my footballing idols.
What do you admire about the coaches?
The coaches in Wolves, I would have to admire everything that they do. I know how difficult it is. I run 2 teams, and even running one's hard enough. But I think the dedication and obviously to put up with me and to put up with what the club expects from them, to keep the qualifications up to date and want to progress themselves as coaches is a massive time-consuming effort. And they've all got families. They've all dedicated to that, to the families and the jobs. And I admire each and every one of them. I don't know how many we've got off the top of my head. With 60 odd happen. But yeah, huge admiration for everything they do for the kids and for us as a club.
Who is your favourite player from the team you support and from another team?
Favourite player from Blackburn of all time would have to be Matt Jansen. I just enjoy watching him play, and it was a crying shame that his career was cut so short. And from another team, I would probably say Thierry Henry. I really enjoyed watching Thierry Henry when he came to Ewood, and I also watched him at the old Highbury as well when Blackburn played there. So those two, yeah.
What makes you proudest to be the Wolves chairman?
I answered a couple, I think, similar to before, but I think I try and get and watch as much football as I can, like Rimington, Waddington, Hurst Green, and to watch so many players who've played for us still play the game into the 20s and the 30s, makes me proud that they've got a link to the club and we could provide them with a platform to play. Obviously High Moor, but I would say that the way the club is now and the way it's being run by everybody, all the volunteers, I think that makes me very, very proud. Creating that family atmosphere again that we kind of lost. When I first got involved, there was 20 odd teams and they were all individual teams and there was no club atmosphere and stuff. So I think that makes me proud. And just seeing so many kids playing football every weekend and seeing the faces when they see High Moor, or they want to, they respect where we play. So yeah, just the whole club feeling really.
Who is the best coach you've ever seen in action?
I think that's a really hard question to answer, but I've been on a lot of courses, having just finished my UEFA B, so watching the FA coaches like Nigel Glego and Darren Bowles, and a lad called Ronnie Rees, and I enjoyed watching them. Tom and Mick are fantastic with the little ones, so I really enjoyed what went down on Saturday and watching how they engage with the kids. I also, Lee helps me with the under 18s, or will be under 18s next year. I've watched Lee a few times, and the way he engages with the kids is fantastic. Lee Fielding, and also Scratch is brilliant. The way he can just put a session on, because he's coached for a long time and he finds it. He seems to find it a natural to do it. But having coached with Trevor Watkins for the last 12 years, I have a huge amount of respect for what Trev's done for my team, for our team. So I think for me and Trev as a pair, as a partnership, work really, really well. So I would probably say Trevor.
Who is the best player you've ever seen live?
Best player I've ever seen live, I would probably be Two Guy, I think. Matt Jansen was my favourite, but I think Two Guy, what he did on the football and was goals he scored, and the way he played the game was unbelievable. And like I said, Henri was very, very good. Obviously I had the joy to watch Shearer for so many years, but having met him in a bar in Newcastle one night, he didn't have very many good things to say about Blackburn Rovers at that time, so he went down in my estimation. So Two Guy, yes, and Thierry Henry.
If you could name 5 players who made you fall in love with football, who would they be and why?
Well, like I said, growing up, our team was the higher boat we used to watch before I even started watching Blackburn. So a lot of the players that played for them I mentioned earlier. But I think from watching Blackburn and when I started, there was players like Howard Gale, Lenny John Rose, Scott Sellers. They were all in the first team that I ever watched. So I also, growing up when I was 7 or 8, used to watch a bit of United, and Brian Robson I thought was an amazing footballer. And there was also a midfielder that played for Rovers for a little bit called Gordon Cowans, and I just thought he was unbelievable. So a lot of the early Rovers players made me fall in love with the game. So when I was 8, 9 and 10.
If you could buy one football shirt from any year, what player would you have on the back and why?
It would have to be a Rovers shirt from 94, 95, and I think for that kit I had Henning Berg on the back, number 20. So yeah, it would have to be that one.
Did you have any superstitions when you played?
Not particularly when I played. I think that's Scratch. I think Scratch said he always liked to wear the number 8. I always tried to wear the number 2 when I played. Don't ask me why. It was probably the only one that was left. At the moment, I have a superstition because Tom and Amy have been playing in quite a few big games. So I have a lucky pair of pink boxer shorts that I wear for those games, and at the moment they're working all right. So yeah, I do wash them between matches, by the way. So pink boxer shorts.
What is your ultimate dream for Clitheroe Wolves, and where do you see them in 10 years?
I think I've achieved most of what I set out to achieve, but the ultimate would be can you continue to develop High Moor and make it more, a proper sports hub, proper football hub, with a 3G up there and a feature pitch, and the way things are heading with the new teams that we're adding this year with the under 21s, and I would hope that they would lead into our first adult team next season or the season after. But I think, where do I see us in 10 years' time? I would like to have an adult team competing at a decent level. I'd also have I'd like to continue to grow the girls' game and ladies' game, and have a ladies' team playing at the higher level as well. But yeah, just to continue to develop. Obviously, that comes with a lot of hard work, and how much longer I can keep pushing, not sure, but I would hope that I've got a good few years left in me yet. Thank you. Okay, thanks for taking the time to listen. You've probably turned off halfway through, which is fine, not a problem. I do realise that I do sound very, very boring when I'm in an interview, so I've tried to be as funny as I can, but I am, it's my favourite subject, so I hope I've entertained you. I hope I've answered the questions. I'd like to thank Amy for asking the questions.
Yeah, my arm's dropping off.
And her arm's dropping off from holding the phone, and I'm sorry I waffle, but like I say, it's my favourite subject. And I do hope you're staying safe. And there's nobody missing football as much as me, believe me. So I do hope that we're back playing very, very soon. And let's look forward to a successful season next season. Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.